Zootopia 2 is packed with references, especially Easter eggs from other super famous movies. Did you recognize every single film that appeared in this story? Of course, Disney would make several references to itself in its new movie, and one of the coolest ones is about Princess Rapunzel from the 2010 movie Tangled. When Nick enters the fireplace room to defend Judy, he uses a frying pan that hits Gary on the head. The exact same thing happens when Rapunzel used the same weapon to hit Flynn Rider. And the coolest part is that the directors of Zootopia, Jared Bush and Byron Howard, said they used the exact same sound effect from Rapunzel's movie. That Easter egg was pretty funny, right? But it's not the only one. Today we're going to show you more than 20 references that Zootopia 2 made to other movies. The moment has come! Let's enjoy another Cinewave together! Almost everyone noticed this Easter egg, but it happened so fast that it's worth showing it on our list. The reference to the animated movie Ratatouille happens during the chase scene, when Gary is trying to escape from the Lynx family party. At that moment, the snake runs past a chef, a lion. He's cooking the famous French dish ratatouille, and when the chef's hat falls off, we discover that there's actually a rat on his head, controlling the lion while he cooks. Next to the chef, there's even a character who references the restaurant owner from the movie Ratatouille, who was always suspicious of the protagonist. That Easter egg was really cool, don't you agree? There are two references to Frozen in Zootopia. The first one happens when Duke, that thief Judy arrested in the first movie, tries to sell some DVDs, and one of them is a reference to Frozen. The other two show yet another reference to Tangled, featuring Rapunzel, and also an Indiana Jones movie. But at the end of the film, when Nick is almost getting into a fight with Pawbert, the two of them start talking during a snowstorm. This is a reference to a scene from Frozen 1, when Prince Hans is talking to Elsa and lies by saying that Princess Anna had died. The reference gets even better when we realize that the conversation between them is almost the same, because Hans is telling Elsa about her sister's death, while Pawbert is telling Nick that Judy died. And both scenes take place in the exact same setting, a snowstorm. That one was really cool, right? Did you notice it? The Shining is one of the most intense movies in cinema history, and it also appears in Zootopia. When Pawbert enters the ice maze, the scene mirrors the exact same moment from The Shining. What makes it even cooler is that in the suspense and horror movie, there's a scene that takes place in a maze in the middle of the snow. Younger fans probably didn't catch this scene, but it was a really cool Easter egg. In Zootopia, the villain is trying to find Gary's grandmother's house to destroy the real patent for the climate wall project, while in the original movie, the villain is trying to find his victims. That's why this scene is so cool, because it shows both villains searching for something in the snow. When Nick saves Judy from drowning, there's a really funny reference to the first Moana movie. In the scene, Nick Wilde has just come out of the water tube, and when he goes to argue with Judy, he twists his wet tail, but it ends up hitting the middle of his own face. The same thing happens to Moana in the first movie. When she comes out of the ocean and turns toward Maui, her hair swings around and smacks the princess right in the face. Pretty cool, right? Another very intense movie that received a tribute was the story of the villain Hannibal. In the prison scene, when Nick and Nibbles stand in front of a glass wall, the former mayor Bellwether appears, and her cell is identical to Hannibal's cell. Not only the glass, but even the bricks in the background are the same. One of the biggest classics in cinema history returns in Zootopia 2, especially because there was already a reference to The Godfather in the first movie. Mr. Big's entire family is a reference to classic Italian mafia films. This moment is also a reference to a movie that only adults would recognize. There's a scene that shows Nick Wilde watching television, and when you look at the screen, you can spot a few references. The first image shows a poster for the series Andor from the Star Wars universe. Would you like Disney to show Zootopia in space? Comment number Disney so we can get to know you. Still on Nick's TV screen, you can see a movie called Platypus, which is a reference to the 1979 cinema classic Alien, one of the greatest horror films of all time. In the swamp market scene, we can see a store called Ariel Grotto, which literally means Ariel's cave. This is a reference to The Little Mermaid, and the cave where Ariel went to meet the villain Ursula and trade her own voice for human legs. Still in the same Ariel scene, we see another shop called Hooks, and this is a big reference to the villain from Peter Pan, since it's the name of the pirate captain whose hand was eaten by a crocodile. Did you catch that Easter egg? Another Disney reference happens in the scene where Judy and Nick are being carried by the walrus. In this moment, a song starts playing that is the exact same song from the movie Lady and the Tramp, during the famous spaghetti kiss scene. This is yet another piece of evidence that Zootopia 2 portrays the two police officers as a couple. Hannibal, and is probably a hint that, in the next movie, they will already be together. If there's romance, there's also action, and lots of action. In the scene where Judy is driving a pink car at the beginning of the movie, she activates the car's engine turbo, and that's a reference to Fast and Furious, when the drivers need extra speed to win the race. In the scene where we see Mayor Brian for the first time, he's standing in front of a wall where it says in English, "Naysayer," and that's a reference to a joke from My Little Pony, and at the same time, to a song with the same name as the Pony franchise. In the city port scene, there's a container with the image of a meerkat and the name Meerkat, and this could be a reference to the character Timon from The Lion King. And that makes perfect sense because, as we've already shown, this movie has several Disney references. Now, it's a shame that there isn't any reference to Pumbaa, who is Timon's loyal companion in that story. Still talking about container references, another box appears with the name Happy Llama and a symbol of a llama, which looks a lot like the main character from the movie The Emperor's New Groove. And that's really cool, right? You know what would be awesome? Subscribing right now and getting all our videos straight on YouTube. During one of Mayor Brian's speeches, we can see that behind him there's a statue of Paubert's great-grandfather, and that image looks a lot like the character the Cat in the Hat. It's a shame that, in this version, Paubert's great-grandfather is actually a major villain, but the reference turned out really cool, don't you think? Did you notice that the Zebros, the zebra police officers, are actually a reference to the movie Bad Boys starring Will Smith? They represent a duo of law enforcement agents who are the most synchronized pair in the precinct. Another reference is to the classic Disney movie Robin Hood, where the hero is a fox fighting against a king, and that king's guards are rhinoceroses. A scene from the trailer shows our heroes escaping from rhinoceros police officers in the same way it happens in the classic Disney movie. In the trailer, we also see a reference during the festival that takes place at the end of the movie. In it, we see a zebra wearing a helmet, a cape, and a red lightsaber. This is a reference to the villain Darth Vader from the Star Wars movies. Did you notice that Gary lost a tooth in this movie? That could be a reference to the movie The Secret Life of Pets, where the character Viper is a snake who could be scary, but he only has one big tooth. And the funniest part about this is that Viper's best friend is a cute bunny, just like Gary now has Judy. In both movies, the snakes seem like scary characters at first, but soon we realize that they aren't the villains of their stories. You know that moment when Nick gets caught by the police after Judy escapes? In that scene, a police officer much bigger than him shows up to arrest the fox, but Nick raises his fist to fight. This scene could be a really cool reference to the first Captain America movie, when Steve Rogers fights a guy much bigger than him, but ends up getting punched in the face. The same thing happens in Zootopia. Our favorite fox raises his fist to fight, but since the officer is bigger, Nick gets punched and passes out. Did you notice this reference in the movie? A reference that only older viewers tend to notice happens after Judy escapes from the police. She wakes up on Paubert's motorcycle and realizes she's in the desert. This could be a reference to a classic cinema scene from the movie Gladiator, when the hero loses a battle and passes out. But when he wakes up, he realizes he's very far from where he lost consciousness. He's in the desert, being carried by his allies. Zootopia really is a movie full of Easter eggs for people who understand cinema. And finally, a really cool reference happens in the post-credit scene, which shows a feather falling from the sky. This strongly resembles the opening scene of the movie Forrest Gump, where a feather is also floating down. This suggests that a great story is about to be told, and in Zootopia, it could be a hint that we're going to get a major movie in the future. What do you think about this theory? We've prepared 2 videos you're going to love. Pick one and keep having fun here with Teen Videos.